Okay, welcome to the North Texas Rotary E Club for June 25th, 2019. We're going to be, oh, there we go. There's our bell. We still don't have our bell. I don't know. Linda said she knows where it is.
I think I do.
We
Rick will
may
do,
know where it
Rick will
is.
do our invocation, and then David will do the pledge.
Okay, I hope you can hear me okay. I'm trying to get, they said my connection was unstable, and I can't see everybody's face at the moment, but I'm trying to get that.
We hear you. It's a little low, but we could hear you.
Okay, I'll stay over here by the microphone. Anyway, let's bow our heads to the Lord, or your Creator. And Lord, thank you for all the blessings we've received and the talents that we can use in Rotary. And please bless our leadership, and thank you for the safe travels of our Rotary members as they visit others across the world. And please continue to guide our leadership as we participate in Rotary and do other good things in our community and around the world. All these things we ask in His name. Amen.
David,
You'll join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to
to the flag
of the United
United
States
States
of America
and to the republic
for
which
which it
stands
stands,
one
one
nation
nation,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So there's the business. I would say there's the upcoming meeting that Linda mentioned, the governor's installation. It's coming up for those who want to attend. And then there is a luncheon at Mangiano's as well, which will be to celebrate. You didn't see that?
That's only for
Yeah.
the
the
president-elect.
presidents-elect
Oh,
and assistant governors.
oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was for everybody. Okay, then that doesn't affect anyone else. Okay.
And then we have our club's installation coming up.
Yeah,
In 2
what day
weeks.
is that? What day was that? It's
It's
not
the Tuesday after the 4th of July,
okay.
so that would be whatever.
Okay, I'll look
The
it up.
9th, I think.
Let me look real fast just so I could see.
I think it's the 9th.
It's the 9th, and that's good. Perfect. So we will meet at Bill Dendy's house on the 9th, and I believe Linda said there'll be a $15 charge for the
For the
catering,
meal.
for the meal. So those of you who can make it, if you're watching this, I'm going to put it in the email as well. Let me know at Mr. Reader at msn.com, MRREADER at msn.com, or call me at 214-952-9150 to confirm so we know how many people to have food for.
And if you can't do it by that Saturday, so it gives Lisa time to order the food.
and I will be there. I'm planning on being there. I'll let Vicky know. I hope she can make it. I'll bring the banner, the club banner, David,
Okay.
because you'll need it. You'll be the new president. I'm gonna
Okay.
turn it over to you, and hopefully sometime during your year we'll get the bell back.
We'll try. We think we may know where it is.
I tried a few
Yeah.
I
times.
think it's over at Greek Isle on Royal Lane, and I haven't been in that area lately.
I'm trying to think his name. You know who I mean. He's the guy in the Rotary.
Yes, Daniel Long.
Daniel Long. I saw Daniel like 3 or 4 times, and he said he was bringing it, and I
Well,
checked. And
okay, he had it at the Greek Isle in Plano. Then somebody said, "Oh, Chris, this needs to go to the Rotary Club," and so Chris took it from Plano back down to Dallas.
okay, because I went to the Plano one and I tried to pick it up. 'Cause it's where he said I'd get it, and it wasn't there. Okay. Is there any other business we need to discuss before we introduce our speaker? Does anyone have anything else that needs to be talked about?
Why don't we introduce our speaker?
Okay, I'm going to use his introduction on his website. He's a mentor and a mentee and married to making the lives of others better, the CEO of the University of Moguls Publishing, co-owner and social responsibility advisor for a custom suit company, Snap Suits. He's a best-selling author, renowned speaker, and an active member on a number of boards. It says he seems like a lot, but it feels like it's not enough. Nothing seems like a lot when you love what you do, the people you do it with, and the people you do it for. So this is Sean. He's our speaker, Sean Blanchard. Sean, when I turn it over, if you want to use PowerPoint, that's up to you. But if you hover over the middle of your screen, there's a thing that looks like a green share button. If you click on that, it'll take over the screen and anything you put on your monitor will display. If you choose to, not everyone uses PowerPoint, but if you want to use it, that would be the way to do it. I'm going to mute my mic so that my dog will bark probably sometime during the meeting, so it keeps the noise down. And we welcome you as the speaker and look forward to hearing your topic.
Well, you know what, Howard, before you go,
Okay.
thank you so much for the introduction. I'm looking to see, I didn't know if I was going to have the PowerPoint capability, but I definitely have one. So is there a way?
You just lost your audio.
Oh, you lost my
I'm not
audio.
sure what happened. Your mic
No,
muted.
it just went down a little bit.
I can hear him.
You can? I don't hear him.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, on the bottom of my screen, there's a sheriff's item.
Yeah, if you hover over the bottom and in the middle on the bottom, there's a button that says share and it's green. So if you want to, you don't have to, but if you want to, you can click that and then everything you put on your monitor will display to all of us if that's something you want to do.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, I would like to do that, but since I don't see anything on my screen, if
Oh.
somebody do me a favor too, if you could type something into the chat box so it can pop up on the side,
Let
that'd
me
be great.
see. Okay.
That'd be wonderful. Right now, I put it in a different gallery mode, and it's not. There we go. All right. Now things popped up there. So if I click share here,
Yes.
let's see. If I click share, all right, I can share this one.
There it is. That's working.
Okay.
It's working. You could, and we're recording this just so you know.
Excellent. Okay, guys. So you can still see me over here too. Can you still
Yes.
see me?
Yes.
Perfect. So this is great. So first things first, thank you so much, Howard. Thank you everybody who's actually here today. One thing I'm actually going to be talking about today throughout this presentation, I'm going to give you a little bit of a backdrop of my journey. And I'm really going to segue that right into the concept of how to become a best-selling six-figure author and how I've been able to do that in 90 days. Now, I did send over, I'm not sure if you guys had a chance to print it out, but I sent over an actual workbook that you guys could actually write on throughout the presentation. But nevertheless, if you got it, great. If not, you could take some notes anyway, because becoming an author is one of those things, especially a best-selling author. It's one of those things where you can really provide yourself with multiple streams of impact and income. And I know that Rotary is really, they really hold themselves high on impacting community. And so what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and go through this information today. I'm going to tell you guys a bit about myself even before we actually start, and a bit about myself. Regardless of being able to graduate from multiple universities and master's degrees, University of Michigan law schools, raising millions of dollars for youth and putting thousands of young people to work, working with presidents, and also having high government official roles. Those are a number of things that I've been able to do throughout life, in addition to being an entrepreneur, which we just mentioned. It's just something that I just feel is so important to be an entrepreneur, but a social entrepreneur that cares all about impact and income. It's extremely important. Now, the interesting thing is, if I can talk about being in Forbes magazine and Essence magazine and a number of different magazines, publications on CNN and different things of that nature, the way that I've been so far throughout life, and it's a pleasure to have that, but I have to take a step back and really talk about a bit of the journey of how leveraging the concept of mentorship, which lends its way right to leadership, has really helped me throughout life. And it's something I really want to talk about today, that I leverage that concept that's really helped me, put it in a book, and been able to become an entrepreneur with several streams of harmonious impact and income. So with that said, I'll just tell you from the beginning, I was born a crack baby. And you guys may know what that means. I'm pretty sure some of you know what that means. It was, the interesting thing was I was born with drugs in my system. And my father, when he actually caught my mother utilizing drugs, he actually chased her and kicked her down a flight of stairs. And so as a result, not only was I born with my left eye completely with drugs in my system, but my left eye was also completely shut. So needless to say, I started out, and that says a bit about my parents already with the type of environment that I was in. Also, I have 7 brothers, in which 3 of them are unfortunately deceased, and 3 of them have been to prison, which lends itself more to just the kind of environment that I was in. I attended a high school that had a 40% graduation rate. And, I didn't have any rules. I didn't even have to go to school. But for some odd reason, I had this beautiful grandmother. God bless me with her. She died when I was 12, but she always told me I was smart and always told me that no matter what, that I was smart and handsome and I was always going to be great. And I believe that even beyond when she died. And so I leveraged that's something that my grandmother said, and I leveraged that throughout high school, going to a school where I was no angel. I was doing some of the things that sold drugs myself. My mom was a professional shoplifter. I did some of that myself. I was taught how to sell drugs at 11 years old and was on the road with my mother shoplifting at 11 years old as well. So it was a very interesting life, a very interesting scenario. But I had a key mentor while I was in high school, and this wonderful, wonderful person, she was my counselor. She believed in me, picked up where my grandmother left off, and told me that I could be her Michigan man because she went to University of Michigan. The beautiful thing was I believed her, and as a result, I attended the University of Michigan. Now, I knew nothing about college, and I was extremely excited to be there, but that mentoring situation that took place in my life enabled me to become the man that I am today, and even coined as the mentorship specialist according to Forbes magazine. With all that said, I wrapped that story into a book, and now I'm going to tell you guys how you can wrap your stories to make impact and income to become a best-selling 6-figure author. All right. So I'm going to go through this presentation now that I gave you a bit about who I am today, as Howard started off with. I elaborated a little bit and then told you a bit about the journey in the beginning of that. So now what you guys are going to learn today, I'm going to tell you guys three secrets here, 3 big secrets. One is how to become a best-selling author. 2 is how to become a 6-figure author. And 3 is how to become an author within 90 days. And now, what I'm also going to do, I came bearing gifts. So by the end of this presentation, what I'm going to do for those who would like it, I'm going to actually put in the chat box. I want to make sure that you guys can actually get my winning book proposal. And the book proposal is good for 4 things: the Holy Grail to writing, and a winning book proposal. It actually landed me 2 traditional book deals, which was absolutely amazing. I turned both of them down. I'll speak a little about that later. And also will enable you to sign to a professional self-publishing company, in which I'm a CEO of actual professional self-publishing company. And it will also enable you to start a strategic publishing journey on your own that you can publish yourself. But the foundation is having that book proposal. And lastly, a book proposal will enable you to actually acquire a team of people that can help you and understand your vision. That's something I'll give at the end, so you guys can have that. It's the foundation of book writing. Now, you'll see this throughout the presentation. This right here, I want to hold the questions to the end, but whenever you guys want more information from me, when I put this one up right here, I just want you to type in that chat box, more keys. Whenever you see these gold keys, just type right into that chat box, more keys, and I'll just keep on going. We're going to make it interactive here. So now, some of the best practices here, just pay close attention, take notes. If you have the workbook, great, and we can ask questions at the end. Now, just so you guys can know, some of the things is from a backdrop of knowing what I do and why I'm talking about this. I'm the mentorship specialist, which means that anytime I'm listening to anyone telling me information, I love them to give me information that they know best, they're expert in. That's why I'm listening. I'm listening to experts. So a bit about my author journey. I'm a best-selling author. The first day I launched my book, I actually made over $20,000 the first day of my first self-published book. And in 2 years, I made over $300,000 from something I was doing part-time. I've done a 42-stop national tour, partnered with AT&T, Usher Raymond, and Alonzo Mourning. I do author consulting. I'm the CEO of a publishing company and also a college instructor. So I also teach at the University of Michigan and guest lecture at a number of different colleges. Now, with that said, we can see here, I've been fortunate enough to be in the likes of the Forbes magazines and the CNN and TEDx and the Black Enterprise, the ABCs, the Fox, and a number of those things, and received awards from the White House and many different types of awards. But one of the awards that's most important to me today, I'll say anyway, is I'm really excited that I'm actually receiving a National Author Award this year, where some of the previous authors are Roland Martin, Hill Harper, and Alice Walker. And I'll tell you this, you don't need to have this type of platform to become an author. You can become an author and then build your platform. Over 80% of the things that you see here came after I actually launched my book. So with that said, I was actually a high school math teacher. So I didn't have this platform that was so huge to sell a book. I was a high school math teacher. And while I was in the South Bronx teaching, what happened was I taught my butt off, and I took the math department to the top 5%. I actually started a mentoring program, ushering young men who came from backgrounds like mine off to college. And then I actually adopted one of them, and he came to me stealing cars and doing a lot of crazy stuff. But by the time I finished, he was a senior class president, accepted to every college he applied to with a 3.8 GPA, and he actually had a full ride to University of Michigan and Morehouse College. Because of that scenario, I was in the news and I was in some papers, and the publishing company asked me to write a book. Now, I'm a mathematician. So I said, you know what? They called me while I was in my classroom, and I said, they say, we want you to write a book. I said, well, I'm a mathematician. They said, well, we'll give you $20,000. I said, well, I think I can write a book. So at that point, I said, hey, I definitely think I can write a book. And she said, well, we'll give you $20,000. That'll be the advance. And then we'll give you 10% ownership. And so I said, it doesn't take a mathematician to know that that's 90%. And I said, you know what? 90%, I'm not too keen on giving up 90% of my book. So I decided to do it on my own. And the keys that I'm going to share with you are 3 big secrets about the book writing process of becoming a best-selling 6-figure author that you can leverage, that I've leveraged, that I've helped over 100 people leverage at this point. And you can leverage some of these keys. I have more of them because I have a whole mentoring community. But I want to give you 3 big ones today that you can leverage to do even for yourself. All right, so now what I want to do, I want to just go right into, I want you guys to imagine that you're a best-selling author. I want you to imagine that you get paid for the rest of your life for something that you created one time. I like to call books your forever product. You create it once, and it just keeps on giving and giving. Think of Napoleon Hill. Think and Grow Rich was written in the 1930s. And so it's a matter of knowing that today his grandchildren's grandchildren are still able to reap the benefits from the book that was written years and years ago. You can even imagine that you make hundreds of thousands of additional income on a monthly basis on something that you create again one time. It's even such as you can even get requested to speak. I'm requested to speak here, but the truth of the matter is I actually get requested to speak and get paid up to $25,000 to speak for an hour. And that happened after I put my book out. So you can really begin to expand upon your impact and income. And I've also been able to give out dozens of scholarships, dozens of suits, custom suits, and also hundreds of ties to young people all across the country. You gotta love the impact that comes with this stuff. And that's why when we talk about impacting the lives of thousands, man, when you see the impact because of the words that you're putting out there, it's just something that it gives your heart a whole leap. And it's just something that you know that you were born to do, and everybody has a story. I want you to imagine that you can even do this in 90 days. I'm going to give you some keys on how to do it today. So with that said, I know you guys are ready. So we're going to jump into these keys. We're going to jump right into them. And we're going to go right here. Secret number 1. So now, I hope you guys have a pen handy. You can screenshot if you like to, have a pen handy, or you can have the workbook. But I'm going to tell you some secrets about this whole book writing process, and I hope you guys find it fascinating as I do. So secret number 1 is strategy to become a best-selling author. Now, becoming a New York Times best-selling author is one way to become a bestseller. And now it's something that you have to think like, well, how do people get this rank? How do people get this ranking? What happens? You see people with that title all the time, but where does it come from? Well, first and foremost, there's 3 things here. It takes 11,000 copies to be a New York Times best-selling author, and that time frame is between Tuesday to Tuesday. Now, if you actually decide to come out with your book on a Monday, that means you have 1 day to become a bestseller because it's from Tuesday to Tuesday. If you decide to come out with it on Thursday, that means you just missed 2 days because you just missed Tuesday and Wednesday. You missed 2 days. So if you come out with the book, Tuesdays are the days where books will come out from anyone that has any type of big book, because that's the time frame that they use to make sure that they can get in that bestseller rank. Now, you may be thinking 11,000 books is a lot to get in one single week from Tuesday to Tuesday. But that's because the secret sauce is in the pre-order. That means that basically, if you have a 3-month pre-order, now you have 3 months plus Tuesday to Tuesday to sell that book. And if you have a 5-month pre-order, or a 6 or 7, 8 or 9-month pre-order, Michelle Obama last year had a 9-month pre-order that started in February that was for a book that launched in November. That whole time she sold books, and then by the time that book dropped on Tuesday, she was a bestseller with that surge of books that went out there when she hit that bestseller rate. Now, the beautiful thing is Kobe Bryant did the same thing last year. His book came out in March, where the pre-order started in March, and then he actually had it released in October. Same thing, the secret sauce is in the pre-order. All right. Now, the next thing is this. There's more than just a New York Times bestseller. There's also, we have it where there is an Amazon bestseller as well. Now, the question is, how do you become an Amazon bestseller? Now, this is the cool thing here. Becoming an Amazon bestseller, is it 11,000 copies that you need to sell? No. Is it between Tuesday to Tuesday? No. It is basically competition amongst your peers. So you're in categories on Amazon, and you need to sell more than your peers in your appropriate categories or Amazon as a whole. And when are they actually looking at these and counting the amount of times that someone is selling books? It's not Tuesday to Tuesday. They're counting by the minute. Every 5 minutes or so it refreshes, and they tell you who's in the top 20 of the Amazon bestseller rank. Now, how do you do that? Again, the secret sauce is in the pre-order. So what that means is that when you have that 3, 4, 5 month pre-order and your books are being sold and sold and sold, by the time they sell, the day your book releases, all those books hit with all of their energy on the day that it's released. And then you can actually run up the ranks and become a bestseller by leveraging the secret sauce, which is in the pre-order. And now the thing is this too, which is so cool. It's one of the really coolest things about a pre-ordered book. When people put out their pre-order, most of the time it's not done yet. The pre-order of the book is that time, that buffer time, where people are still editing their book at the time, but you can pay for it, and people can get paid while they're actually writing their book, waiting for release. Amazing. And that's a standard actual writing practice. All right. Now, question is, well, Sean, tell us about a pre-order. How do we actually set it up? I'll tell you a few things. How you set it up is pretty simple. Select your cover, complete your overview, select your launch date, monetize. At that point, you can monetize your book and go from there, and you can go ahead and join the ranks to become that bestseller. So now this information right here is game changing. I want you guys to become a bestseller. This is something that you would love to do. I know you guys have stories. Even when you were just talking about, we went to Germany over here. We were just talking about eating different foods all across the world, different things of that nature. These people speak English. They say we stole, we speak it different. We're in Australia. They speak it this way and that way. Of course, I was listening the whole time to get information from you guys, but you guys have journeys, and you've been on journeys for a while. And if you're a part of Rotary, maybe being an author is something that you guys really want to do because you're all about impacting that. So with that said, if you like that information right there, just type in there really quick, more keys to me, right? If you like that information, type in more keys, and I'll make sure that I can give you guys some more info, and we can go ahead and take it from there. Awesome. So with that said, I'm going to make sure that we can go on to the next portion here and give you more keys. Again, we have 3 big secrets. I have hundreds more, but I'm going to give you these 3 right here. There we go. More keys. Excellent. So we'll go right ahead. Now, secret number 2, guys, and this is going to be amazing. Now, secret number 2 is strategy to become a 6-figure author. I want you guys to think about this. Again, anybody that's about impact, anybody that wants to make impact in the world, becoming an author is one of these ways where we can give our stories, message, and expertise to make sure that we can make a strong impact in the world. So I'll tell you guys this. Becoming a 6-figure author, we can do this by doing the math. I'm a mathematician, but you don't have to be. You just have to know a few things about the math so that we can understand what we're talking about here. So let's say, for example, we have a book is $20. A lot of times people will say, you know what, my book is $15. Well, if you say it's $15, what you run the risk of doing when you're out selling books like myself and after a speech and people are purchasing books afterwards, what happens is a line of people, and if they give me 15, I might have to get change, and it gets all murky, it's strange. And if it's 25, the same thing happens. Just make the book $20. It doesn't matter if the book is 130 pages or 330. My first best-selling book is 330 pages. It's $20. Gary Vee, one of my favorite authors, his book Crush It, which is also a bestseller, is 130 pages, which is a 200-page difference from mine. They're both $20. So $20 is a good margin for your book. Now, let's say, for example, that Linda's book is $20. Rick's book is $20. David's and Howard books are $20. If you sell 5,000 copies at that point, what happens is you actually can make $100,000 with the $20 book in revenue. Now, this is where it gets cool. The thing is, you can actually make sure that when you think 5,000 isn't a very big number, but I want to make sure I can give you guys some information. Every year, there's typically about 1 million books that are actually published. And with those million books that are actually published, over half of them are self-published books. Now, what I want you to know about this is the average self-published book only sells about 250 books. Now, the question is like, that's not close to 5,000. No, it's not. But I'm going to tell you guys this one, be very, very clear. People plan to write, but they don't plan to sell. That's the issue. People will plan to write. People say, hey, Sean, I've been writing my book for 6 months, a year, 2 years. They're writing away. But I bet a lot of time, 9 times out of 9, if you ask them, hey, have you already planned the marketing plan to get it done? They're going to tell you, oh, no, I'm writing right now. I haven't got to that part. Well, if you don't plan to write, people plan to write it, but they don't plan to sell. And if you don't plan to sell while you're writing, once you're ready to launch it, what are you going to do? We got to do these things at the same time. So what I'm going to do for you guys, I'm going to tell you with this philosophy about making sure that you plan to sell, I'm going to give you a strategy that we utilize. Author Secrets, we utilize what's called the 5-tier PR marketing plan. And so I'm going to give you guys the overview of what that is. Okay. So the 5-tier PR marketing plan, what is that? So it's simply this here. And again, we're strategizing to become that 6-figure author. It's simply this here. You want to make sure at what point in the writing of this book are you thinking about the book selling process? Well, quick answer, the whole time. Now, let's segment those times so that we can understand how to move forward with this. Number 1, before the writing. Before you even start writing a book, you have to know the brand and the person that you are, those things that are important to you and your why. When you actually know that, for example, my newest book that comes out on my birthday is called Millennial Mogul. In that book, I actually, because I know that that's the brand that I'm going for, I'm an entrepreneur and whatnot, and I'm a successful entrepreneur. The thing is, what I did in this particular book, I took a year ahead of time. I would post on social media, and I would speak about mogulism, being a mogul, and things of that nature. And so from there, people would say, hey, Sean, we respect this brand. He always talked about mogul. So when he comes out with a book, I guess he talks about it a lot. It's something that we appreciate. We appreciate the value. It makes sense. The second time period is during the writing. While you're writing the book, you need to activate your brand and your public relations strategy. During a pre-order of your book, which can come relatively fast, because again, you just need your book cover, overview, and website. During the pre-order, you're going to activate your brand, your PR, and book selling strategies during that period of time. Because while you're writing that book, your book can be on pre-order, and you're activating book selling strategies at that time, and then you can monetize right from there. The next part is once you launch the book, of course, you want to make sure that you have your launch strategy, your brand, PR, and book selling strategies for your launch, which is different from the pre-order strategies. And you also want to have your post-launch life strategies, which is the heartbeat of your book, which will live on far beyond your launch and for years to come, just in the same vein as a Think and Grow Rich. So these are the 5 areas that you want to focus on. And now what I want to do is to make sure that I said these 5 areas that you can focus on, but I want to make sure that I can actually even give you one right now, because I have in Author Secrets, we have this mentoring program that I have where I mentor hundreds of authors. The thing is, I actually give them 40 different book selling strategies, and I'm going to give you guys one right now, if that's okay with you. Is that okay with you guys? Is that okay? Can I get a thumbs up? Is that all right?
Yes. Yes.
Excellent. So here we go. Nice. Now think about this one here. Now, when we think about this one here, you think of a book selling strategy. You think of actually selling you think about 50 books. 50 books will actually give you $1,000. Now, I'm pretty sure to all of you guys, that's not a lot, right? When you think about 50 books, when I think of 50 books that gives 1,000, I'm like, wow, that's a little bit of money, a little bit of books that's going to give you a nice size of money. So now the thing is that to sell 50 books, that's a simple morning text after church to family and friends. We all just prayed together. Amen. And so the thing is, it's a matter of knowing that 50 books is a simple text after church to family and friends. You can take your phone and you can just do it just like that and sell 50 books without a problem. So how many of you guys with a thumbs up think that you could sell 50 books just like that over a text to family and friends, just like that? If you could, just give me a thumbs up. All right. If you think you could, awesome. I see some thumbs up there. Excellent. Excellent. So 50 books is something that's relatively quick, fast, in a hurry. I see you over there, Howard. Awesome. Now, I want to make sure that you know this too. You can find 100 ways to make $1,000. That's making $100,000. How many times could you sell 50 books? Well, if you could find a way to sell 50 books 100 times, you will actually make $100,000. All right. Let's keep going there. Remember, people plan to write, but they don't plan to sell. But you won't be one of those people. You'll be the kind of person that makes sure that you actually plan to write, plan to sell as you're actually writing a book too. So now, if you guys say this information is good, Sean, this is some good stuff here. If you're excited about this information as much as I am, go ahead and type in there more keys to me so I can see it over there. Give me a thumbs up. Awesome. I see Howard gives a thumbs up here. I see you there. Excellent. And so with that said right there, I'm going to keep giving you guys some more information and more keys because we just covered a few things here. We covered strategy to actually become a best-selling author. And also we covered strategy to become a six-figure author. So now let's go ahead and take it to our next secret here. Now we're looking at secret number 3. Now we're talking about actually becoming a best-selling author. We're talking about becoming a six-figure author. But you can't become any of those without actually writing the book in the first place, right? So we got to actually get the book written. And this is where I'm going to tell you guys how you can make sure you can exponentiate the process of actually getting your book done. So something I'm going to tell you guys is simply this right here. I'm all about making sure that you can carve your name in history. And when I say carve your name in history, I mean to say that it's simply like you want to put history, put your stamp into this world with the impact that you're going to make in it that's going to live on far beyond you. You want to actually make that stamp. You want to carve it. Carve simply means to consistently add ridiculous value everywhere. That's what it means. Consistently add ridiculous value everywhere. Carve your name in history. This is what we're going for. And I want you guys to understand this. Anybody that is great, all the greats has had mentors. So you think about the Steve Jobs, the Mark Zuckerbergs, the Oprahs, the Jay-Z's, the Damon Johns. Anybody that's great has had a mentor. And I know I've had plenty, and I'm going to tell you guys now a bit about how my journey started out as an author and how I was mentored to become a best-selling multiple six-figure earner as an author. Now, this is the thing here. One thing that my mentor told me, and it's going to blow your mind. This blew my mind when she said this to me. She told me, she said, Sean, you don't have to be a writer, just an author. I said, wait a minute. Okay, let me repeat that back to myself. Sean, you don't have to be a writer, just an author. What do you mean? I was lost. I didn't understand what that really meant, right? That was like kind of confusing. If you're a writer, aren't you an author? That's what it sounds like anyway. Well, and so basically, this is where this came from. These are my author mentors. And so essentially, I'll tell you about these people here. The top left, that's Shaka Senghor. He has an amazing best-selling book called Righting My Wrongs, one of my author mentors. To the top right, that is Gail Perry Mason. She has an amazing best-selling book called Girl, Make Your Money Grow. On the bottom left, that's John Hope Bryant. He's done over. And he actually has a best-selling book as well. It's called The Poor Can Save Capitalism. And on the bottom, Travian Shorters is another best-selling author mentor of mine, and he has a best-selling book called Reach. And so I went to all of them and I said one by one, and I was going to figure this thing out before I entered into making sure that I could become a best-selling author myself and make multiple streams of impact and income. And so when I asked them questions, this is what happened. I went to Shaka on the top left and I said, hey, give me some pointers about this whole author process, about getting that book done. Give me some of those pointers so I can do it too. He told me, he said, you know what? He said, man, you know I was on Oprah. I said, okay, great. So like put me in a text group with Oprah or something like that. He said, bro, that's not how it works with Oprah. That's not how it works. And so it's a matter, he's like, you know, that's an inside conversation. I can't give out her number. That would be against all rules. She probably wouldn't talk to me anymore. So, but I'll just tell you to keep going. I think you're on the right track. You'll get there. Thanks a lot, Shaka. I appreciate it, but it didn't help me much. I went to my mentor mom to the top right, which is Gail Perry Mason. I said, hey, you know what? I want to become a best-selling author. I know you've done it. She said, Sean, you know, I was on Oprah. I said, gosh darn it. I said, listen, I need some help here to figure this thing out. And so she says, well, you know, I was on Oprah. I don't even have a number for her or anything. They called me to the show. I met her once and that was kind of it. And then I went to John Hope Bryant in the bottom left. He's done over $2 billion in revenue in his company. And he says, well, you know, Sean, companies actually purchased my book and I became a bestseller that way. I said, man, okay, well, I don't have a company worth $2 billion, so that was going to be a stretch for me too. Then I went to my mentor on the bottom right, Travian Shorters, and I said, hey, give me some ideas. He's a VP of a nationally recognized foundation, and then he started his own movement. So he's the CEO of this huge movement, and companies bought his book. So I said, listen, I don't have a huge company. I'm not sitting on Oprah's couch right now at the moment. Pray to God that I will do one day. That'd be great. But I'm like, okay, how can I get this done? And that's when I went back to my mentor mom, Gail Perry Mason, on the top right. She said to me, Sean, you don't have to be a writer, just an author. So I said, what do you mean? She said, I'm going to introduce you to a co-writer. She's going to help you with your book. I went to my co-writer. She said, you know what? This is a secret. This is like a big secret here. She said, Sean, you know what? You're not going to have to write your book with me. You don't have to be a writer, just an author. I said, how do I accomplish that? She says, well, you're not going to write your book. You're going to speak it. Wow. Phenomenal. I said, so you want me to speak the book? She says, yeah, I want you to speak it. You're going to make an outline for me. I'm going to give you some processes that you can utilize to create this type of outline. I'm going to interview you. We're going to have 10 sessions. And after that, I'm going to record you while we do it. And afterwards, I'm going to write up everything. I'm going to give it back to you. I said, wow, that is phenomenal. I said, that's how celebrities do it. This is amazing. And she said, yeah, that's pretty much how they do it. And I said, okay, great. And so I said, so when do we start? She said, right after you give me $5,000 and I would like 40% of your book. I said, good Lord. I said, man, well, that's a lot of money. I don't know about you guys, but $5,000, I'm just like, man, that's a lot. But I knew that I had something. So I negotiated her down to 4,000 and she wanted 40%. I gave her 30. I worked it out now to where it doesn't exist. It's just the 4,000 that I gave her now and some money that I've given her additional since book sales. But the thing was, I actually had someone where I could just speak the book. Amazing. Now, this is the thing. What's amazing about that is since then, that was the first book where I did that one. Since then, I've been able to do this process and do it much smarter because I don't have to pay someone $4,000, $5,000 to speak a book and transcribe anymore. Where we spoke it over the course of 2.5 months. She transcribed it for me for 2.5 months and gave it back to me. I put it on pre-order, made thousands of dollars, and then it was released. The first day I made over 20,000, but this is the thing here. You guys, I'm not suggesting that you do that. I'm suggesting that you work much smarter than me. It's for Howard, Linda, Rick, David, anybody else who's here with us right now. I want you to work smarter, and working smarter, you can do the same thing right here. You can work smarter by using your phone. Check this out, guys. There's an app that I like to use to actually record and transcribe. And the app that I use is called Rev Recorder. It does just a great job as my co-writer. And basically, I speak right into the app. I can put the phone down and speak right into it. This whole conversation right now could have been recorded, and it would have transcribed everything as we're talking right now. And it even has editing tools inside of it so where you could share it with some type of editor that can go aside and make sure things can happen accordingly for you too. In addition to that, you can even take the audio to create an audiobook. This thing's amazing. So I want you guys, and then one of the most beautiful things is this. They're not going to charge you $5,000 up front or anything crazy like that. What it simply is, it actually records you for $1 per minute. So it records and transcribes. So that means that if you talk for 60 minutes, $60. It's not $5,000, right? And it's not going to take 2.5 months to actually get it down, then 2.5 months to transcribe. It's going to transcribe as soon as you say it. So time is cut down 2.5 months on the transcribing part. And again, I took 10 sessions, which was every Wednesday for 10 Wednesdays. You could take an hour a day for 10 days and speak the book, and you can have a whole book in 10 days. I'm going to prove it to you. Boom. This right here, this is my good friend, David. This is David Harris. David's a current PhD student. He's also a teacher. He's a newlywed, and he has a newborn baby. I asked David, I said, hey, David, how long did it actually take you to actually get the draft of your book done? And he said, you know what? It took me, he said, it actually took me 10 days. You can see it right there in the text. And it took him 10 days to get a 400-page draft of the book, and I have the book right here. Isn't that amazing? So it's called More Than a Village. Excited for David here. And even inside, he's like, thank you so much, Sean. I couldn't have done it without you. I appreciate you so much. And David is one of many people that's actually gotten a book done very quickly by using the systems that we have and with the Author Secrets program. One of the coolest things, too, I think this one's amazing, too, and then we're going to go into a temperature check for everyone and go into questions. One of the interesting things is this. I was actually, last summer, I was downtown Detroit, guys. So Howard, imagine yourself walking downtown. David, think about yourself walking downtown and you're on the phone. And I was talking to an actual author client of mine, a publishing client. And as I was talking to him, this gentleman walks up and says, hey, you Sean Blanchard? I said, hey, yeah, I am. How you doing? Good to see you. And he says, hey, can I talk to you for a second? I say, I'm on the phone right now, but, give me a second, we'll, have a good day about it. And he says, can I talk to you for a second? I said, let me just give you a call back. Okay. So I said, okay, how can I help you? And he says, you know what? He says, man, I want to thank you so much. I was actually on one of your web classes, and on the web class, I got so much information for you. I joined this program that you have and getting some mentorship by you now. I love you as a mentor. I haven't even met you yet, but I've been taking all the wisdom and using it. As a matter of fact, I finished my book in 2 weeks. Boom. He pulled this out of his book bag. And I'm like, random dudes walking up to me downtown, pulling out books on me. Man, I'm excited, right? So this guy's name is Justin Bell. His book is called 100 Reasons for College. Really proud of Justin for getting this book done. He finished this one in 2 weeks. So I love being able to do these types of things. And at this point, something I love to do too is to make sure that I can do a temperature check with you guys. If you guys enjoyed the information I just gave you right now, go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the information I just gave you right there. Awesome. Awesome. Howard, Linda, yep, I see you. Rick, David, perfect. Excellent. Great. Now, one thing I want to do with a temperature check here, I want to make sure I can do a temperature check by understanding if you guys caught some of these principles that I just gave you, right? So first things first, and you can even put it in in a text box real quick. So the first thing is this one. If you want to become a best-selling author, the secret sauce is in the what? Who remembers that? Okay. Want to become a best-selling author.
Marketing.
All right. We got marketing. Okay. That marketing is important, but it's the secret sauce that we can leverage to become an Amazon bestseller, a New York Times bestseller. That secret sauce is in that process. That process is called the what? Anybody remember that process?
The $20 book.
It's great to have a $20 book, but it's a matter of knowing that process is not when the book is launched. That book
Pre-sell it.
Right, and the pre-order. The secret sauce to becoming a best-selling author is in the pre-order. Okay. Now, another temperature check is if, let's say, for example, that you want to make $1,000. How many books is it that we need to sell to make $1,000? If your book is $20,
50.
50. That's right. This is like Jeopardy right now. Okay. So now, perfect. And now we're going to go to this one here. Let's say that you're like Sean. You're like, I want to get this book done fast, quick, in a hurry. If you want to get a book done fast, quick, in a hurry, and you actually want to make sure that you can utilize a system for it, what's that app that I called? You guys remember the name of that app?
Rev.
Perfect. All right, excellent. So right there, that's a temperature check. That's what I wanted to check with you guys for. And that's pretty much the presentation today. I wanted to give you guys 3 big author secrets to make sure that you can understand how that you could become a best-selling 6-figure author in 90 days. And also making sure that you can understand strategy on all of those areas. Of course, I have hundreds of more keys and whatnot that are author secrets of people that go through the process. And like I said, too, I want to make sure that I provide you guys not only with this strategy, but also want to provide you guys with my book proposal, my winning book proposal that I actually landed 2 traditional book deals with. And I need to go right to the text box, which I'm going to do that here. I'm trying to see how do I make the PowerPoint
Go
book.
to chat. Oh, if you click on share, I think you could stop sharing.
Okay. Okay.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
I'm an author also. I think this rep thing is very good, but instead of paying them $1 a minute, if you go to Google Docs, one of the things Google Docs will do is allow you to speak and it'll transcribe. So if you record your book in a recorder and then put the microphone next to the recorder and walk away and put it into Google Docs, Google Docs will do the transcription for free.
It sure can. And there's a number of services that can do it for free. One thing I like to do is to make sure that I always give from the ones that I find that work really well, transcribe your words well, and also some that have like editing tools and assistance beyond just the transcription to it. So the ones that are actually made just for it, they do cost, but they have little extra pieces to them that you could utilize that
Okay.
help off the process.
So it has it's a more accurate transcriber than Google Docs?
That's right. Yeah, because it's made exactly for it, and
Okay.
some additional things in addition to the process of just the transcribing too.
Okay.
So, but that's a good suggestion too. I see that you are on it. So one thing I'll also say is if you guys would like to win a book proposal, I'm going to put a survey here for you guys. And if you fill out that survey, I'll send that winning book proposal to you. And the winning book proposal, what's great about it is it provides you with, and even just doing a temperature check with everyone here, because we have some time to talk a little bit more here. So tell me, guys, I want to know how you guys feel about the info. If you have additional questions or anything like that, you guys can just let me know.
I liked it a lot. I just make one suggestion. I've been using Camtasia instead of a recorder, because then if you make it into you can make a video product. You could use the MP3 as an audio product, and if you transcribe the MP3, then you have your book. So it kind of gives you a little bit more option than just a book or an audio. That would be the only thing I would change.
Okay, so you said it does. So it has the audio part and the transcribing part.
Well, I usually to transcribe, I'll play it through Google Docs. I'll play the information out my speakers. Put my microphone next to my speaker, and it'll transcribe it. And then I'll clean up the transcription. But the advantage is you can also make a video product, and you can sell a video product for a lot more than a book. It has more perceived value. It's the same thing, and if you do the audio, you can make your PowerPoints into your illustrations for your activity book. And if you make a book, it could be your illustrations for your book. I like what you're saying. I got a lot of ideas from it. I do stuff like this, but I learned a few really cool things today. I wanted to thank you.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I think having that audio part is a really important part of the process. You really want to have that. That's one part that they also do.
Yeah.
Because you can utilize that and have portions of your audio book already ready. So that's right. A really great.
Or you can use the audio as a bonus. When you
Right.
sell the book, you could say, by the way, I'll also give you an audio away, and it doesn't cost anything. You just give them a
That's right.
link.
Now, one thing I will say too is whenever you have a story message or expertise, it's important to be able to share it because we go through things, we're tested to have testimony. And essentially, having testimony, it helps so many other people throughout their processes, whether it be business, life, whether it be mental, psychological, whatever it may be. Everyone has something to add to the lives of others. So just really excited for you guys. Anybody interested in writing a book at all?
Howard is a book writer.
I've written.
I'm retired.
I have some bestseller. I wrote a book for Time Warner. It's in its 28th reprint. And Barron's asked me to write a book for kids, which I did. And Nightingale Conant did my audio program. They sold $65 million worth of it, which was like the top info product of all time. So that was kind of nice. I'm going to stay in touch with you. I think we should talk. I have some ideas. I'm just listening to you, and I have some ideas. So I'll get back to you after this is over in a day or so. But I'm going to give you access to my programs as a gift for being here today, and it'll help you with what you're doing as well.
That's phenomenal. I appreciate
Thank you, Sean. And also, I'd like to extend, you've heard a little bit about Rotary, but this is an opportunity for you to be in an organization. If you would like to join us, we can have Howard send you an application.
It's a great thing for a speaker. It's good what they do. They do a lot of very good charitable things, helping eliminate polio. They do water projects in Africa so girls don't get raped. The water's nearer their home. But as a speaker, when you go to a city to speak, you go to a Rotary meeting or two the day before, and those are the movers and shakers in the big cities, the mayor, so it's a great, it started as a networking thing. Now it's much more of a charitable thing, but it's still, for a speaker, a really great way when you're on the road and you're trying to network and meet up with the leaders and get your name out there. And if you're a member of any club, they have to allow you to go to every club. You belong to Rotary. So no matter where in the world you go, there's always places you can network. So I like it for the charitable work they do, but I also like it as a speaker. It's a great networking tool.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal.
Okay, well, thank you again. And,
I'll be in touch. I'll stay in touch with you. I like what you said. It was very interesting.
All right. Well, thank you, guys. You guys have a blessed day.
You too. We're going to do the close. This is the Rotary close. We're going to do the four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. First,
is it the truth?
Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And we have the fifth is will it be fun? Thank you, Sean. It's good to see you back, Linda and David. Nice to see you, Rick. I'll see everyone next week. And the week after, we're going to be going to Bill Dendy. And I was going to remind everyone, if you can, bring a check for your dues for next year for Linda. How much do we need, Linda? Is it $250?
$250.
So if you can, bring the check when we go to Bill Denny. It'll make Linda's job a lot easier if we give her the money then. Okay, have a great week. Thank you, Sean. I'm going to stay in touch if that's okay with you. And thanks, everyone. I'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.